Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vilambujasyam komalangam Sita Samaropitavama Bhagam Panavu Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus. It's very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He's carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Shri Ramcharitmanas in Baal Kanda. Verse number 344. At this stage, you are directing your attention to all four brothers who have been married. Good news. And all the Varatis, the marriage procession that had gone from Ayodhya, they are all returning with four bridegrooms, four brides, and of course, the main purpose of all this is allowing your mind to enjoy prem ras. Prem is a real love. God is the only love. Anything else you love, because your mind, you develop a kind of illusion. Remember in the Upanishad, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. For the sake of self, all becomes dear. Your body is dear because you think the body is the self. People become dear when we think that they will promote your fulfillment of your desires. But if they don't, they're not. That will be driven away to the white forest. Dear, dear, away. Everything that your mind is envisions as a source of joy, behind it, the real joy is the self. So, love towards that divine self, that is what is the highlight. If you have developed even a drop of that love, you have made your life purposeful. In all experiences of pleasure, if you could bring out a little love of God, if you want to understand more profoundly, then it applies to everyday life, in everything you do. Instead of you are cooking something and it doesn't cook the way you want it, instead of being angry, develop love for the kitchen. And develop a different mental set. Now, coming to a more practical way to understand, instead of resolving your problems by anger, by stress, by agitation, by hurting others, turn towards resolving your problems with patience, with faith, invoking God, repeating divine mantras, enjoying satsanga. If you are doing that, you are switching your attention from the world of illusion to God within you. Put it in a more simple way to understand. Everyone loves light, light. All through the day you see all types of illuminations. But instead of loving all these illuminations that will run away from you, love the sun, who has no place to run to. I'm joking. Put it another way, learn to see the sun and adore it even in little drop of water that is shining. Learn to see God's hand in all relations. And especially with challenging relations. Because there comes your test of your guts. Can you hold on to your broad-minded philosophy that you are divine? Can you hold on to that majestic dignity that you are expecting out of yourself in challenging situations? And if you hold it on, mentally say thanks. You gave me the test and I passed it. So now let me control myself. So this is the setting of all of them have come in Ayodhya, and how in the palace mothers are so thrilled by the presence, all the subjects are thrilled. So the description has a subtle mystery behind it. Mystery is you are, through all this description, you are being led to turn your mind to love of God, how love makes things so shine. Vividha bhati mangala kalas griha griha rache samari sur brahmadi sihahi sab raghupara puri nihari. Every house in the Ayodhya is so well decorated. Mangal kalash, beautiful jars that have a special artistry on it. And more than the artistry, what contains, what is inside the jar. Some special herbal and sacred material, Ganges water or holy water or whatever. And Mangal Kalash is considered the highlight of any sacred celebration. And putting your mind to a very advanced stage. View the entire universe being bathed by Mangal Kalash. The sun rises, brings you the picture, Kalash. Sprinkles a little, all the clouds shine. He sprinkles another way, birds dance, peacocks go into thrill. The trees begin to swoon. Go into this form of feeling, you'll find that all the miserable feelings that you have been holding within yourself, they are little mosquitoes. You have allowed big oxygen to pour into your heart. They move away. See the entire world being bathed and showered by Mangal Kalash of God's grace. You may say, that's your imagination, it might be in Satya Yuga, but not in this Yuga. But not so. That's the reality. The divine presence and divine being, the reality behind this world, that's absolute. Everything you are experiencing is through your iPad, not the small iPads. Your nervous system, your brain, all that is bringing out your experience. That experience cannot be the reality. Human history is hysteria. I put it very advanced. So every description in relation to Rama turns your attention to that profound truth behind the whole universe. So through Rama, you are turning your mind to Satyam, absolute truth. Therefore, Rama cannot be described. Yet, to make your mind feel cozy, you bring Rama's picture with blue complexion. So, Vividha Bhati Mangal Kalas, numerous types of the Mangal Kalash, the jars with special auspicious materials, and from every house, and they are being sprinkled. And the elegance that appears in this stage surpasses even the descriptions of Indra's world and his heavenly enjoyments and the apsaras and all that. It goes far. Surbrahmadi Sihahi. Gods will tremble. How is it we don't have this type of happiness? Including Brahma, the creator. Brahma, the creator, always relates to the world. If the world is there, therefore there is Brahma. But that role of Brahma is transient, because the world is Maya. If dream is there, then the dream creator is there. But when you wake up, where is the creator God? So that type of concept of God in your mind, that God compared to the absolute, that ordinary concept is the Brahma, that Sihai. He shakes himself when he sees all the glory of Rama. Because before Rama's status of liberation, the concept of God as creator, very little. That's the subtle point behind it. Try to understand. Anybody reading the Ramayanam will go through it fast. What's going to happen now? But you want to really enjoy what Tulsidas ji poured into the literature and go into his heart, there lies your art, mystic art. भूप भुवन तेहि अवसर सोहा, रचना देखी मदन मनुमोहा. And the palace of King Dasharatha began to shine in a special way. Even Cupid God, who is considered the best skilled to evaluate what is beautiful, even he is surprised. How can he miss this type of beauty in his imagination? Simple point. The mind that enjoys beauty on the basis of amorousness, that's kama. No matter how great is that beauty, you have missed the real source of all the joy. This doesn't mean that kama doesn't have its own role, but to understand the profounder meaning. Mangal saguna manoharatayi, riddhi siddhi sukha sampada suhayi. And the whole city of Ayodhya abounds with mangal shakun, auspicious things. Things that you would, if you wake up and you see and say, oh, this made my day. That's called mangal. But to see a vulture spoil your day. Then you have to wait for another some other day. And not so. Here in Ayodhya, all mangal, all things that make your mind thrilled, they all came together in Ayodhya. Riddhi, siddhi. Riddhis are minor miracles, minor powers, psychic powers. Siddhis are major ones. Riddhi, siddhi simply implies those experiences that go beyond your normal limit of consciousness. Your normal limit is like whatever mind and senses bring, that's the norm. But you have also an inner source that can bring you experience that your mind has never imagined, that your senses cannot bring in. The very circle of consciousness goes on expanding if you go advance. That's why the description of Uttarayana Marg. So all the miracles and magic and all thrill that you expect, all are there in the highest level, in Ayodhya. Janu uchaha sahaj suhaye, tanu dhari dhari dasharatha grihe chaye, dekhan rahe tu rama vaidehi, kahu lalasa hohi na kehi. And all types of delight in the daylight. Delight will not exist without daylight. And when we experience that, that's called utsaha. So consider delight as a spirit, embodiment of delight, delight embodied. All types of delight, like so many flocks of birds, bagulas, have come together. And they have come together adopting fake personalities as human beings. See, gods are faking in your forms. That's the way I see it. And why they have faked? Because they want to have the darshan of Rama and Sita. Who would not have that type of aspiration? Jooth jooth mili chali su asini, nij chavi nid rahi madan vilasini. And groups and groups of beautiful women, so beautiful because they're all gods, divinities, goddesses, faking themselves as human beings, fake personalities. There's lots of fakers. And the wife of Kama turns her gaze with the idea, who can excel her beauty? But soon her head bows down. The type of beauty she sees, she doesn't have anywhere. Understand, if you assimilate that, your mind is allowing a channel to discover a higher form of delight and use that form of delight in every little delight you have. Every little delight is like a little flame, but the source of the flame is the sun. Every form of delight is touching, you are touching God. You're coming from the self. So allow your delightful experience to expand. Bring delight to your heart, bring delight to others. Then you are living in daylight. Deprive yourself of delight. You are living in the world of darkness. Simple formula. All these women, they are doing arati, waving light, adoring Rama. They appear like Gavahi Janu Bahubesha Bharati. Bharati is Saraswati Devi, appearing in many forms. She doesn't send her secretaries, but she herself becomes all those forms. Doesn't want anybody else to get trouble. She enjoys through countless forms. and through countless eyes the glory of Rama. So sometimes sit back and see. The whole world is glory of God. But am I enjoying it? Well, push yourself away. Saraswati Devi is enjoying it. Watch her face. Try to give you subtle art of upasana. In the world of your meditation, bhavana, feeling, you are swatantra. Swatantra means you can do. You have the paper for your painting, you have the ink, you have the brush. Now it's up to you. Make the picture of a heaven, the absolute heaven, or miserable hell. You have the power. So allow that quality to be of use day by day. Let not your upasana be always imagining what hellish life is going to be happen. If things change in the world, these scientific factors go array in different directions. I'm just giving you a joke. But there are lots of worries. People worry if one hair turns grey, then what will happen? Worries of countless types. But instead, push away all the miseries of the world that you hear from morning till evening. You may ask me from where. I don't have to answer that. भूपति भवन कोलाहल होई, जाई न बरनि समाउ सुख सोई. And there is joyous, loud sound resonating all over the palace. The Hindi word for that type is called shore. Why shore? Sha is profoundly good. Sha implies kalyan, shivam, all that is absolute good. And Sha in Ur. Ur is your heart. So when kalyana bhavana enters your heart, you don't know what word to use. Shout. You pour out all the sound that you have. So that's what happens in all festivities. The joy and the glory of that setting cannot be described by words. Kausalyadi Rama Mahatari, Prema Vibasatana Dasa Bihari, Pisari. Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, Sumitra, and other queens, they are so immersed in ecstasy that they are not aware of their body, they are beyond their body consciousness. Diye dana viprana vipul, puji Ganesha Purari, pramudita paramapadit daridra janu, payi padaratachari. First, following the traditional worship, they invoked Ganesha and then Lord Shiva and gave in charity Brahmins, greeted the Brahmins and offered dakshina to them, gracious offerings to Brahmins. All that they did was because Rama was there. Because of that joy of seeing Rama expresses through all these acts. How their inner feeling is described. Pramudita parama daridra janu pai padarathachari. Just as an extremely poor person were to suddenly win a lottery of 4 purposes of life: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. What will be his joy? Try to understand now this. It's a foxy movement of sages. First point to understand, are you really rich? Everything that you put your hand on is perishable. You don't have to put your hand on. Everything you put your mind on is perishable. Once you realize that, then you understand how poor you are. You possess nothing. Nothing exists. Nothing belongs to me. But when you come to that state, now comes you are Brahman. And Brahman means fulfillment of 4 purposes of your life. 4 padarthas. All came back in with one lottery. I'm joking. It's Godward movement. Godward movement has 2 aspects. One aspect, go on understanding that the world is not a permanent status. Nothing in the world can stay. You don't believe in it? Look into history. And once your mind becomes free of desiring to come into the world process, so allow your mind not to be bonded with the desire to come back to enjoy the world again and again. Don't be too dull-witted to go on expecting the same dream to entertain you each time you go to bed. You gain nothing. So once you realize there is nothing to be possessed, that vairagya has reached its height. And then all the 4 purposes of life come before you. On one side, seems like pathetic sound. Nothing exists, nothing belongs. Another side, aham brahmasmi, aham bhuma, I am the absolute. Nothing exists other than me. And that's all this is the elaboration of this statement. Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The concept of being rich for masses is based on illusion. A deluded concept, these things belong to me. The deluded concept is what? The richness that makes you degraded. That richness, you move away from it. Be poor. Moda pramoda vibasa sabamata chalahina charana shithila bhayagata. And the mothers, they're not ordinarily, they are experiencing three types of thrill: Priya, Mod and Pramod. It's Vedantic psychology. When you turn towards the fulfillment of your desire, first a concept that if I have this, I will be so happy. Now that concept, you see itself fulfilled, or you as if realize it in three stages. First stage, figure out where can I get it. And Google tells you, go to Hawaii. Don't take it literally. Go to some place. And so, now it so happens, put in a very simple way, something you desired, and you see that the object of desire before you, the very sight gives you a sense of joy. That's called Priya. Now, you plan to bring that object in your possession. And you see your certificate, you get ownership. That's called Mod. And now you begin to actually enjoy it. That's called Pramod. But instead of Priya, Mod and Pramod, Maya plays a Vinod on you. Vinod means a humorous game, tricks. Neither it is Priya nor Mod nor Pramod. Three stages of your joy is directed towards something illusory. And when you tease people by creating illusions, it's called Vinod. You play jokes. So Prakriti or Maya is playing Vinods, creating Priya, Mod and Pramod. Damara darashahita ati anuragi, parichani saju sajana sabalagi. But in the case of all these queens, it's the real prem, seeing Rama. And Mod, prem rising to very high level. And Pramod, profoundest. And they all prepare to do arati of Rama. Vividha vidhan bhajane bhaje, mangala mudita sumitra saje. And numerous types of instruments they were sounded, drums, kettle drums, conches, and whatever you can think of. And Sumitra Devi, the mother of Lakshmana and Shatrughna, she made herself busy with decking every part of the palace, Mangal Sage, bringing auspicious things. Decorate your door, decorate every little thing, the walls, and you go and imagine it. Harada Dooba Dadi Pallava Phoola Panapuga Phala Mangala Moola. They're given more details. For the masses, the villagers, the sages introduced many herbal things which are very healthy if they become more attached to them. Haldi, for example, turmeric. No matter whichever way you use it, just to beautify your face, it makes your skin very healthy. So haldi is one of the auspicious. Harad, doob. Doob is a tender grass, but here is a doob, a type of grass that you might have heard about. It has herbal effect. Dadhi, yogurt. And different types of leaves and flowers. Pan, there's a special betel leaf. Indian people were for ages and ages they have been using betel leaf, to which you add some special things, betel nut, and but all that becomes herbal treatment to promoting good digestion and freeing your mouth from garlic smell. Achyata ankura lochana laja manjula manjari tulasi viraja. And they haven't exhausted yet. And rice. And when rice is fried up in a special way, it's called faruhi. Tulsidas uses the word lava. And blossoms from tulsi plants. Chuhe purat ghatas sahaj suhaye, madan sakun janu need banaye. And beautiful golden jars. In those jars, beautiful paintings. They were all Mangal Kalash. It seemed as if Cupid God himself fashioned them for a special resting, for a special nestling of his birds. See, he has his pet birds. And he created all these for those pet birds to live in. This poetry has no limit. You must realize the whole universe is poetry. It's universe. It's not uni-prose. सगुन सुगंध न जाहि बखानी, मंगल सकल सजहि सब रानी. All these auspicious materials can't be described. Tulsidas is tired of it. All the queens are busy doing all this festive activities, and they are singing and waving light. Kanakathara bhari mangalani kamal karhani liyamat chani mudita parichani karan pulaka pallavitagat. In golden platters. Their hands that hold the platters, they are like lotus hands. And with that type of setting, they are doing the arati of Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata. And what Tulsidas wants you, join in it. Lose your identity. Just sneak in. धूप धूम नभु मेचक भयऊ सावन घन घमंडु जनु गुठयऊ. Now, beauty of literature, poetry, and mystical feeling. Tulsidas is now bringing you a picture of clouds gathering in the sky. How does it start? People are burning incense sticks, and similarly other materials called dhoop that bring about lot of smoke, and along with smoke, lot of fragrance. But how much smoke? Like a massive cloud has suddenly appeared in the sky. Like a Star Wars. And it's not stressful. Full of fragrance, a massive cloud. And the clouds are gathering into a swirling clouds. And every now and then they are raining down. But what rains down are beautiful garlands being dropped from gods, full of blossoms. And in that, all minds seem like becoming bagulas. Bagulas are those special birds. Birds with they're called herons. Their necks are always like that. So mind is bending down, bowing down to their beauty. As if lots of bagulas are there along with the whole crowd of bagulas, herons, soaring through the clouds. Manjula manimaya bandhani vare, manahu pakari puchap samare. And their houses, they are decked with festoons, a special type of decoration. And they appear like as if rainbows have come together, appearing here, appearing there, lots of rainbows. So it's adding to that cloudy appearance. The whole rainy season has come together, but it is all of a auspicious nature. And those rainbows, it's the bow, you must realize that somebody has to shoot it. As if Cupid God himself fashioned those bows. Because all bows are not so effective. But Kaba's bow is very powerful. So every sight you are seeing is not going in vain. It's going into your vein. प्रगटहि दुरहि अटन पर भामिनी चारु चपल जनु दमकहि दामिनी. Now, to complete the picture of the rains and clouds gathering, you have to have lightning flashing every now and then. Beautiful women, well attired, every now and then they sneak out, come down, they go back. Lightning flashes. They're chapel. They're not steady. Dundubhi dhuni dhan garjani ghora jachaka chatak dadur mora. And kettle drums, etc. are sounding. But all this is in the setting of the rainy season. All those sounds that come from the instruments, they are the thundering sound from the clouds. All those people who have joined together, they are papihas, they are special birds. And countless people constituting the crowd, they are the frogs. They are all busy. And there are peacocks. And the rain that is falling is a special fragrant blessing coming from gods. So therefore, all men and women of that ayodhya, they are drenched, inundated with spiritual joy. Just like you are. And with this I will conclude. That's why I have difficulty, can't go into this story. Om Triambakam Yajamai Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ramayana.